Okay, y'all, we're in for a treat. Because I know that Cheyenne's probably like, I don't know what to do with all this stardom because I'm 20 and it started when I was 18 and I just don't know how to handle all this famosity. But she's going to tell you her story, and I'm really excited to have her on. That she's taken time out of her night to do this for us. I got to finally kind of talk to her at our event a couple of weeks ago. And one, yes, she's just as amazing in person, and two, she's freaking tall. But, so she could be a model on the side if she wanted to be. So we're just going to dive into this. Cheyenne knows what she's doing, and she has built on social media. So we're going to get more social media tips because I know a lot of you are primarily building there. But she's going to speak life into you girls that are ages 18 to 25 because she is your market. And she started at 18. So I'm just going to hand it over. And if you'll give us your story, and then we'll go into some Q&A.
Hi guys, I'm Sheyenne Knox. I'm 20 years old. I'm a little sick, so I don't always sound like I'm a man. Promise. But I joined this business 2 years ago. It was that semester of my senior year of high school. So I was 2 months over 18. I looked at the Discover page, found my upline, Courtney Boris. She's about to be the first double ambassador. And I messaged her, asked her a bunch of questions, asked her how much money she made, and the moment I saw $36,000 a month, I fiercely ran into the kitchen, asked my dad for $99 because I think I had like 20 cents in my bank account, and my dad's in sales, so he was like, yeah, like, why not? You know what you're doing, like, just because I had seen him and seen like what he had done, and so he gave me $99. I got started, made him enroll as my first customer, went after that $500 Ruby bonus that was on at the time, and now it's $1,000. So if any of y'all are going Ruby to get that $1,000 guarantee, hello, that's a lot of money, because my second paycheck with this business was $898, and it was that $500 Ruby bonus, and that's what kept me going because I'm very red, very money motivated, and after that, 3 months later, I went diamond. 3 days after I walked across the stage and graduated high school, and earned the $5,000 bonus. So with that, I was able to not have to work that summer. I got to go into school, pay $968 on my first day of school for all of my textbooks. I got to completely fill my dorm with everything that I bought. I paid cash for my tuition for my freshman and sophomore year, 100% with this business. Never had to take out a student loan ever. Never have had to ask my parents for a single dime since I've started. I've been able to actually give back to them. And then in March, a month after conference, I went double diamond. So 11 months later, you guys, every single month I was like, I'm going to go double diamond. Okay, maybe not this month, next month. May 2018, going double diamond. Okay, not now, September 2018, going double diamond. Finally, March 2018, so month after conference, the last conference, I went double. 3 months later, I went triple diamond, earned the $15,000 bonus. 3 months after that, I went presidential diamond and earned the $25,000 bonus. And now here in the next few months, I'm going ambassador. So I'm super excited about that. But, there's been a lot of ups and downs in my journey, losing rank. And I'm very open about that because I think it's a really cool part of my story. The team I'm promoting with now isn't necessarily the team I had at the beginning. I've gone through a lot of things. I've changed locations about 17 times and it's gone with me. They say every 6 months something happens in your life, and every 6 months something happened in my life where I was super thankful that I had this business. A lot of people ask me to talk on Zooms about certain things because, I got so much crap for starting this business at a young age. I'm super young, so I've had a lot of hate from it. So a lot of people come to me about that. A lot of people didn't necessarily think that I would be successful with this because I was young, and hello, hi, it worked. So there's just a lot of things about my story that are different, but I think that's really cool that, you could be 60 and be ambassador, or you can be 18 and be ambassador. There's no cap. There's no cap on income. And I've been able to buy a car, got myself a new Tahoe. That was insane because I was really proud of that. I hit a 6-figure savings account this month because I have not had to, I'm just starting my life. I live in a student living apartment. I didn't have any bills, so I'm able to just rack up my savings so that I can live my life how I want to. I'm able to help my family in more ways than I could have ever imagined. I've made investments into retirement already, and I'm working on making that doubling my income of what I made last year. So That's really all. I'm number 94 income earner. I have these sticky notes on my desk that I look at all the time, and I've had to change them out a few times because I've accomplished the goals that were on them. I told myself all year last year up until conference I was going to sit on the white couch and be in top 150, and I sat on the white couch and I was in top 150. So dream big, you guys, because you have no idea what this business will do for you.
And you were, okay, so you promoted to Prez. What month did you promote to Prez?
October.
Okay, October of last year. She was probably already in the top 150 as a triple, I'm thinking, weren't you?
No, I don't know, because this is my first year as top 150.
Okay. So I want us to touch majorly, give a few minutes on this. How did you fight the hate? Because, I mean, no matter what age you are, you're going to, have to fight the hate at some point. Mm-hmm. I hit it on early. I did a live and I just kind of let people have it. And I really haven't had to deal with it that much because I hit it head on. But for these girls or guys that have slowed down or just literally quit because of one offensive remark, I want you to, because I know your story. So how'd you fight the hate? And guys, take note, because this girl's strong. She has dealt with so much crap. Even probably still that you're making $20K a month, Yeah,
it's in different ways now than it was then. But when I got started, guys, it was just awful. I mean, I got posts made about me. People would comment on my stuff. I was constantly have to delete comments. I lost a lot of friends, people that I thought were my friends. I didn't necessarily lose friends because they weren't my friends to begin with. That's what they were going to do. It really changed the way that people looked at me. They looked at me in a completely different light, and it really hurt my heart a lot. I'm a very sensitive person. A lot of people are like, well, Sheyenne, like, you're so bold. I'm so scared of you. And I'm like, no, but like, I'm a teddy bear. I cry a lot. I'm super sensitive. And so I took everything to heart, but I never let it show. I never, it never stopped me. It was literally what made me successful in the beginning. A lot of people are like, well, why did you promote so fast? Because of the hate that I got. I was not about to not promote. I was not about to not make money. I was not about to fail, because that would be really freaking embarrassing. Like, that's the way that I looked at it. And I was like, if I fail, I'm proving all these people right. Why in the hell would I do that? Like, that's so dumb of me. So, I set out there and I was like, I'm going to earn this $500 bonus for Ruby. I didn't even know what Ruby was. To me, that was Ambassador Diamond at that point, because I had no idea. But I put it out there every single day. And whether I knew what I was doing or not, I was going to earn it over hell or high water. And because I put it out there and then I earned it, then it was like, oh, okay, maybe I can do this. And then I put out the $5,000 bonus, and people were like, oh my God, I've earned $5,000 bonus. And I'm like, no, but like, really, wait. And then I did. And so, I was always putting goals out there and willing to go get them, because the thought of me not doing something because someone else told me I couldn't was more of like a watch me. Like, you can talk about me or you can do it with me. And so a lot of people that I was really good, like my very best friend, she's blocked on all social media at this point. We were friends for 8 years, I think. And she talked bad about me on Twitter, and I removed, because the people that I have, got in this business, the friends that I have now are friends that I couldn't have ever imagined having. The friends that I thought I had, the friends that I thought were my ride or dies or my bridesmaids or anything like that were going to be with me throughout the rest of my life, planning my baby showers or whatever it was, I had no idea. Because now the friends that I have are 10 times more than that. One friend equals 10 of the friends I used to have. So that's one of the biggest things, is just the relationships I thought I lost, I only gained better ones. And, I got talked about on Twitter, and still to this day, people try to say stuff. And most of the time, all of them are blocked now, so I don't see it. I just hear about it. But, it's still not even the ones that are directed at me. It's the ones that you see on Facebook of the people talking about how it's a pyramid scheme or this, that, and the other. Like, I know all of you have heard it, whether you texted your Uncle Joe about it and he was like, get out of it while you can. Like, we've all heard it. So I just want you to know that, number one, you're not in a pyramid scheme, so let's not freak out. Number two, it's not a scam if you're new and people tell you that and you're like kind of getting concerned and you're a little bit sweaty right now because you feel like you're in a scam. You're not. We wouldn't be here for 18 years selling incredible products, getting actual like before and afters, and me actually getting $20,000 deposited in my account legally. Promise, it's all good. But people are going to say what the bandwagon is saying. Like, everyone, I'm not saying any political views, but I'm saying one person says something about Trump and someone that's never even seen TV or never even looked at politics or anything says Trump is bad, because you don't know. People just say what they hear. So one person says it's a pyramid scheme, and so does everyone else. So I got so much crap from it, so much hate from it. I'm not necessarily get it in the same ways, but it still bothers me, that people say stuff, and we're human. It's going to hurt your feelings. It's going to make you angry, but let it make you angry in a certain way. Let it fire you up. Let it make you super passionate about what you're doing, and let it, you're not going to fail, because if you fail, you're proving all those people wrong that said you couldn't do it. So I literally, I make stabs at it in my captions. I'm like, all these people told me that it wouldn't work or that it wouldn't last. Look at me now. Or, people said I wouldn't make any money, and look at me doing this. Even if you're just paying your gas at this point, or even if you're paying a section of a phone bill, you're doing more than what they said you couldn't do. So always keep that in mind, and just know that if you're giving up, you're getting nowhere, and you're doing exactly what they said that you would do.
Okay, let's repeat that. She said you're focusing and posting and showing people what you're doing with that check. They don't know how much money you've made. We paid cash for a living room set. Nobody, it could have been $5,000. It could be $1,000. Nobody knows what we paid cash for it. Holla. They don't have to know. So just start posting about things like this. I don't think that we're loud enough because we're scared of that we will have to go on the offense so much. But Sheyenne, you said something at the Try It a couple of weeks ago, that instead of burning bridges, you've blocked, but you haven't burned bridges just in case those people want to come back and then they want to be a part of what you have. And I love—
Well, that's something else I was going to say too, is a lot of those people that have told me no or been super rude, talked badly about it, are on my team now, you guys. Like, keep proving them right, because you're honestly, people say stuff out of jealousy. They're afraid to do what you're doing because they don't have the courage. So let them live through you. Like, let them watch you do it. Let them watch you achieve your goals, watch you do this, that, and the other, and buy this and pay off this and do this, because one day, they're going to sit there in a position where they need this business so badly that they're willing to push past the thoughts of people making fun of them because they know that you did it.
Yep. So when you first joined, did you know what the crap you were gonna do? Like, did you know how to do this?
And I thought we only sold wraps.
Okay, so share with all the newbies, because we do have some newbies, and we're probably gonna have about 50, 60, 70 watch this. How did you get started? Did you sign up and then do nothing? Or did you sign up and say, teach me how to do this, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, and you show up every day?
Yeah, I was not one of those people that just kind of sat around and did nothing. I promoted to executive my first month, Ruby my second month, Emerald my fourth month, Diamond my fifth month. Like, I was going for it, and I was straight up ignorance on fire. I mean, sometimes my time hop does me dirty because it brings back stuff that I posted. I don't know how the heck I even enrolled people from it. Sometimes people will message me, coming to me about a product, and I always swipe up because I want to see if I've messaged them before, or if they told me no. I always do that. And I'll swipe up and I'm like, hey, join my team, #it works. This is the coolest thing ever. We make this much money. You should sell products, and it's legit, not a scam. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? But it's because I was willing to say that, and I was willing to fail, and I was willing to do this, that, and the other to get to where I was going. It obviously worked. But if I wouldn't have been willing to fail, if I would have tried to figure everything out in the process before I took that first step, I would still be a distributor at this point if I wouldn't have been willing to fail and make a complete fool out of myself. I mean, a lot of posts I posted, I didn't get any likes on for the first 6 months after, I joined this business, but I was willing to do it anyway. So definitely did not know what I was doing, but I asked Courtney a ton of questions. I didn't even care if I annoyed her. Some people are like, I don't hope I'm not annoying you. I didn't care because that was her job. She trusted me, and I trusted her to do this with her. So I blew her up. I asked her so many questions. I would type posts and say, hey, can you help me with this? But she never had to come to me. I went to her. I always was blowing her phone up. I was always asking her how to do this, or watching her and saying oh, how did you make this post? She never once had to say hey, how's it going? Because I'd always text her and be like, hey, how am I doing?
I love that. So how do you start your new distributors?
So I have a really duplicatable system, and I think that's the biggest thing. It starts with me being able to do it. I train my new distributors, so then they're able to train their new distributors with the system that I've created. The very first step is them sending me a selfie so I can welcome them to the team page, because I want them, if they're super green and I automatically put them in the team page, they're going to kind of do their own thing and, look through stuff. 9 times out of 10, they've already logged into eSuite at that point, looking at all this stuff. Color languages will take over at that point, and you will be able to see what they are. I don't know if y'all are big on color languages, but that's all we do. So I have them do that. Then I let them log into eSuite because I cannot stand seeing people on commission hold in my eSuite still. So that's the second step. I send them the link, explain to them what it is, tell them to look around and ask me questions. I explain, it's just like if you're a waitress at a new job, you have to learn the menu. So I always tell them to look around, ask questions about anything they don't understand. And the next thing is I have them make their first post. I do not give it to them. I give them like you're going to add this, this, and this, explain why you joined, explain what you're going to do. I give them like a little description of how to do it. And I say, let me know when you get done with that. I always have a call to action at the end, because sometimes if you don't, they'll like make the first post and never text you again. And I'm like, hey, did you do it? And they're like, yeah, I did it 3 days ago. I don't know why, but they do that. So I do that. And then I have them make their dirt list, which is 30 people that would buy dirt from them if they, were selling dirt because they love them. So they make 30. I used to do 100, but I find that with a new distributor, it's really overwhelming for people. So we just do 30. And then I send them their first message. So I give them a message that sends to their friends and family. And then I send them a voice message. And I say, if this is not something you would send to someone you haven't talked to in 6 months, bring up something that y'all used to talk about, or bring up how you hope they're doing great or their kids are doing great, and make it personal. Don't forget how to talk to people. A lot of people, when they're new distributors and they go message people, they become a robot and they're like, I don't know what to say. And I'm like, this is your best friend from high school. What do you mean? So just trying to remind them to talk to them like you're humans and not just starting this business on their computer. So I say that. And then after they get started, that's kind of where you'll start seeing people, whether they're going to do this or they're kind of iffy or whatever. So after I send them their first message and they start like blowing me up with screenshots, then I know they're going to kind of do this. Mm-hmm. So then I start going, like, I'll send a message about posting, and I'll give them some inspirational people to follow, and go over, how we post every day. We post on our story. And then I have an iCloud sharing album. You can't add anyone to it, only I can. So I have my leaders make their own, but I just add all my stories in there, and I add all the people, and so they can just go in and screenshot stuff. So that's what I do at the beginning to help them have stuff to post every day. And then, at that point is when most people kind of fall off. The people that are going to do it, and the people that are not going to send the message because they're embarrassed or they don't want to or they're scared. I always call out the elephant in the room at that point. I'll send a voice message and say, like, hey, maybe it's they didn't make their first post. And I'm like, hey, I know you're super scared to make this post because you're worried people are going to, talk bad about you or have some weird things to say or whatever. And then I always relate to them. I'm like, hey, I went through that too, but you have to make that first step in order to get to where you want to be. Mm-hmm. And I'll say something like that. Or if they're, they send out their screenshots and everyone's saying no, you obviously know they're discouraged. So I'll send them a voice message and say, like, hey, I know you're discouraged. I got told no more than I got told yes, and I'm still here where I am now. So I just kind of always say stuff like that based on the conversation. And my biggest tip for everyone is, I use my iPad now, but I have this journal over here where
you're making me want one.
What'd you say? Sorry.
You're making me want one of those.
You need one. You'll go ambassador if you get one.
Okay.
But I just write down all of my distributors, and I have a list of their customers and whether they have an auto shipment set up. And every day when I wake up, the first thing that I do is go down this list, because I'm going to be honest, the higher up you get in this business, the more distributors you enroll, you forget about people because you cannot keep your head on straight. And I forget about people all the time, not because I don't care about them, but because my mind is just not able to keep up. So with this, I go down the list every single day and I text them based on where we left off. So maybe they didn't respond to the dirt list message, or maybe they haven't been sending screenshots. I'll go to where they are in that conversation and say, like, hey, and don't ever go to them and be like, hey, how's messaging going? Because 9 times out of 10, they're not messaging and they're not going to respond because they don't want to tell you they're not doing it. So I always say, like, hey, I don't know if you've been messaging or not. If not, go send this message out to 10 more people within the next 30 minutes. So therefore, they don't have to tell you they haven't been messaging because you're not going to know. So if you give them something, then you're going to know. So then they typically always do it. But I go down this list every single day, and I do not miss a fast start. Because if I start seeing all these, like, I have someone with 4 customers and someone with 0, and they've both been in the same amount of time, I know that the person with 0 probably isn't going to do it, and that's where I have to pick up the slack.
Okay, I love those tips. I hope you guys wrote those down. Those are great. I'm gonna get off here and go buy me one of those. Hey, my birthday's on the 1st, so
there you go.
I'm gonna do it. Okay, so and I love that you put your goals out there, you guys. Did you hear her say that they're on her sticky notes and she has to change them and they're on her desk? How many of you, and I'm looking at Alexandra, you guys have a desk that you live at. Alexandra lives at hers, like, so much. Put your next rank, what you're working towards, on your sticky notes. You should go get presidential. I had this made 2 years ago because I was boxed for triple 2 years ago because I was like, I'm going triple and then I'm going to go prez. But I still have this as a reminder. Look at that. It's huge.
I love it.
And it's my next one. So whatever you're working towards, put it out there. Put it everywhere. What do you want? Because I want to be in the top 150. That's a new thing that I've started putting on my dream board that I really didn't think that I could reach right now. I'm almost 34 years old. You can dream whenever you want to. That's what Sheyenne started with. We need to do, when you were still in school, because we know you retired yourself from college.
I did. Peace out.
I don't need it because you won't pay me enough. You can't pay me enough to graduate. Okay, so these girls that are in college right now, they're busy. They're loaded classes. They're cheerleaders. They're at practice. They're at cheer camp. They're doing these, socializing, sororities, whatever. How did you do it? What was a day in the life of Sheyenne when you were in school?
You're not too busy. You're not. So excuse out the window. I'm so red. Like when my team comes to me and they're like, I'm sorry, I've just been busy. I'm like, I'm sorry. That's just because you didn't make it a priority. I don't mess around with that because, guys, when I was in high school, I had less time than when I did in college. When I was in high school, I'm going to tell you this, and it's going to trump everything. So imagine, compare it to your situation because all of our lives are different. So I had a full-time job. Well, not a full-time, it was part-time because I was in school, but I went to school at 10 a.m. and I didn't get out of school until 4:30, and our school blocked Wi-Fi. We could not text. If you texted someone, it sent as a text message. We didn't have iMessage. We didn't have social media. You couldn't get on Instagram. Nothing would load. So from 10:30 to 4:30, nothing was done. Nothing could be done. I could not do anything. We didn't have off-campus lunch, nothing. I was stuck in my school building all day long, okay? So the only time I had to work my business was before 10 a.m. I'm not a morning person, and I get ready in about 5 minutes. So I would wake up at like 8:30, work my business, get ready, run to school. In that time, I would plan out my posts for the day. I would message people, and, I was open with them. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be at school all day, but I'll get back to you when I get back. I was open with people so that I knew, throughout the day it was okay that I wasn't missing out on sales because they knew I wasn't going to respond. And then after that, 4:30 comes along, I get out of school, I went straight to cheer practice. Our school cheered for every sport, so it wasn't just football, so we didn't have any off season. So every day I had cheer practice until 6:30. So here we are, 10 to 6:30, still no time to do anything. I was also in Key Club, Interact Club, Student Council, NHS, like every school thing I could be a part of, I was in it. I was between meetings, events, I had to cheer basketball games, soccer games, football, everything. I had no time. And then after cheer practice, I went straight to work and worked until midnight every single day. And I went diamond in 5 months. I don't know how I did it, but I also know that I never, ever, ever once texted Courtney and said, hey, I don't have time to do this. It wasn't an option. That never once crossed my mind where I was like, whoa, I don't have time for this. Because it takes 2 seconds to send a message, you guys. I want you to sit there and say it out loud. I don't have time for this because I don't have 5 minutes to make a post, or I don't have 5 minutes to post some stories, and I don't have 5 minutes to message people. Yes, you do. I'm rolling my eyes and they're getting stuck in my head if my team texts me that. So I just want you to know that you just have to make it a priority. It's either plan A, promote and make this happen, or plan B, die. That's the way that I look at it. There is no plan B. And I tell that to that's what my team said. That's our motto. Plan A, promote, plan B, die. There's no plan B. There's not. So, if you're busy, if you like me, I had cheer practice, if I had work, if I had this, in the 5 minutes I'm at a stop sign or a red light, I'm sending out messages. The 5 minutes, I would literally go, in the bathroom at work, there was a little turnaround thing and the counter went back into the counter, and I would sit and put my back up against the counter so that when people came in the bathroom, they didn't know I was sitting in the bathroom. People probably thought I had IBS because I was always in the bathroom, but it's because that's what I needed to do. I had to be working, I had to be following up with people, I had to be posting, but because I was planning ahead, I used the weekends to be able to, plan my posts so that I could go in, copy and paste, post the picture, and I was done. Had my stuff in my text replacement, so I was just sending out my follow-up. So when I went to school, moved into college, it's a different kind of busy. You're busy randomly, sporadically, all the time. You have a class at 3, you have a class at 9, you have this at this time, you have lunch at this time, you cram in a snack. It's just all random. And that's a blessing. It's because in this business, you're never going to be able to create a firm schedule every single day. And the moment you do, you're putting too much pressure on yourself. So I would wake up, send out some messages, make up my first post. In between classes, I was messaging, responding to people, making another post, posting on my story. It was just sporadic all over the place, but it worked for me. So if you're, sitting there and saying, well, I don't have time for this. Yes, you do. You have time for this. You're just saying that because it's an excuse and you're lazy. You cannot make that an excuse. If you do it once, every single day, it's going to become the normal. Every day you're going to be like, oh yeah, well, I didn't have time yesterday. So it's okay if I don't have time today because I don't really have time. You're wasting, in the time you're saying you don't have time to do your business because you're wasting time saying you don't have time.
So, and you might have had this happen. If a distributor's not working and you ask how are things going and they said, well, you haven't sent me anything in 3 days, but they're on the group chat, they're in the team, they're on the album, how do you respond?
Well, you mean like they say that I haven't sent them anything or like?
Yeah.
So I always say, like, if I text someone and I check in and they're like, well, everyone's saying no, or, I don't feel like I can do this, or I don't have time, or, I need this, that, or the other. Like you said, they're in the team page. They're in this, they're in that. They need to be resourceful because when it comes to my new distributors, like I'll tag them in the product description so that they know the description of every single product. But it comes to the point, like, when you have those self-sufficient distributors that you've already told them, I say, go look here. Go find this, go do this. I'm not going to send you a post. I'm not going to send you, because I didn't have to have that. And sometimes maybe, people ask for help. Obviously I help them. And like, if they are really struggling with a post, I'll send them an example. But, I'm not going to sit there and baby someone because this is a business. If they went and got a job, they're not going to be babied. They have to do their job. So it's kind of the same thing of just, adding them, make sure you've done everything you're supposed to do. Like you've led them, you've trained them, you've given them all the tools that you had. They're in the team page. They have access to everything that they need and you've helped them. But when it goes beyond a point where they're not helping themselves, you can't help people. You can lead a horse to, the water, but you can't make them drink.
Okay. So what is a day in the life of Sheyenne now? Because you're presidential diamond, you're going to be the youngest ambassador. You're not going to turn 21 till when?
September.
Okay. So you're going to be ambassador.
Well, Courtney's the youngest ambassador now and she's 23. So.
Okay. I just got chills. I'm going to have to shave my legs again. Okay. So what's a day in your life now? Because I've watched several of your Zooms. We had a training in Baton Rouge at LSU, and we watched one of your Zooms together. We know that you, at least some of us know, you message 10 people an hour because of algorithm things. So what is a day in your life now? And two, you can tie this in. How do you recruit loyal customers and distributors because you're social media based? Because so many people do it differently. So what does Sheyenne do?
So every day when I wake up, the first thing I do is go down that list of my new distributors, because if they're enrolling, I'm enrolling. Because, if you're training, the way I look at it is if you have a month where you've only enrolled 5 customers, but you've trained 5 distributors to enroll 5 customers, you technically enrolled 25 customers. Congratulations. Because you have helped them and they wouldn't have enrolled that if it wasn't for you leading them. So that's the biggest thing, is always start with your new distributors, because that's where, your future ambassadors are. That's where, your most excited volume is coming from. That's where your next promotions are, because promotions breed promotions. Mm-hmm. So if you're getting them excited and you're helping them go executive and go Ruby right off the bat, all the diamonds and the doubles and the emeralds are like, oh, dang, like there's people promoting, I need to promote too. It kind of creates that FOMO. So new distributors are the most important part. And that's where the money is at, because you teach them how to enroll. They're getting fast starts, especially if you're diamond and above. So I do that first, and then I do my personal development. I have the stack of the order of what I do next to my bed because I don't get out of bed to do it. The first thing is I read my devotional. I read 100 Days to Brave. This is what I'm currently doing right now. I don't read. I'm not a reader. So these things are like 3 sentences and I'm done. So that's what I do to like get my mind right for the day. And then I always say this notebook when I'm like rich and a billionaire with this company that I can like sell this because it has everything great in it. Like I have all my Zooms, all my Zoom notes, like all my trainings, like stuff with Pam, like all this kind of stuff. And so I always like, I'll watch a Zoom. I'm a big thing about videos. Like I love watching videos. So, I'll watch past trainings or past Zooms or, trainings with, top leaders or something like that, or personal development books, and I always write them down. Because I've always been that way. Even in school, if I don't write it down, I don't remember it because I have the memory of a goldfish. So that's what I like to do. And then the next thing is I'll respond to my 100,000 text messages that I got. Y'all, you just wait. Your text messages are I'm a freak about notifications. you just got to let it go at this point. It's okay. I just throw my hands up in the air and I'm like, oh, whatever, I just have polka dots everywhere. But I, respond to my team, and then I make my first post for the day. On my story. I post on my Instagram anywhere from 12 to 3 in the afternoon. I don't like to post it too late because it doesn't get seen by enough people and you don't get as many likes. And I don't like to post it too early because people aren't on their phones at that point. So I like to post it in the middle of the day. Usually people are at like their lunch break around then, or it just always conveniently works out for me that way. But on the very first thing is I go make my coffee, post it on my story. I don't think there's been a day in the 2 years that I've been in this business that I have not posted me making my coffee. It's tradition. But I also enroll only keto coffee and chocolate greens because of that. So I post that, and then I'll post some inspirational quotes. I always post like fillers in between. So I post my coffee and then an inspirational quote and then what I'm wearing that day. Because it's all about what you do. Like, I don't want you to start posting get ready with me and stuff if that's not who you are. I'm like makeup and fashion and girly stuff. That's what I do. And that's how I branded myself, which I'm really big on that too. But, I talk about that, and then I'll make my post on Instagram, and then I do my follow-ups. So I typically do that in the morning as well because I make reminders for follow-ups. I don't write my stuff down in the calendar because when you're at this point, there's too many names and I can't find a calendar with a box big enough. So I use the reminders app, and I just say like, hey, remind me to check back with Amanda about keto coffee and chocolate greens tomorrow. And so all my reminders go off at 9 a.m. So I don't wake up early. My alarm goes off every day at 9:30. I know I need to change that. I stay up so late, like literally so late. We do work Zooms every single night, and I'm up until like 2, 3 in the morning. That's just how I roll. But every morning, all of my reminders go off. So I know like all of my reminders are there to check back with every single person. And I don't check it off until I've done it. So I just go through and follow up with all those people. And then at night, so I do message throughout the day, but for some reason, Instagram is whack. And I can message and follow about 100 to 200 people every single night recently for like the last 2 months. Like if I do it really late, like I said, I'm up super late. Like I followed 211 people last night. Yeah, I went through and counted because I was curious. So it let me follow that many people. And I messaged like 186 people like 3 nights ago at one time, and it didn't block me. I don't know. It's been doing that recently. But I think it honestly has to do with my level of engagement with people. I interact like crazy. I'm always liking people. As soon as I follow them, I like their first 3 pictures, and I go comment on the picture. I go through my timeline and interact. I go through stories in the morning, and I just swipe up on people's stories. It uses your messages, like, because you'll get blocked eventually if you do that too much. But I do that as well. And then, it's also, there's a lot of the random things like charting for people, doing random Zooms like this, doing power hours. I'm a very face-to-face leader, so I just do pop-up FaceTimes all the time with people. I'm like, hey, you're not messaging, what's going on? Or hey, you're not enrolling, why? What's going on? Like, I'm just that kind of person. Because if they're not on my work Zooms or they're not getting on team trainings, I'm convinced they've quit. They haven't. That's just how I am because I'm a very face-to-face person. So I don't like texting. All my team knows if I don't respond to their text message, just call me because that's just how I am. So, but I spend a lot of time doing one-on-one Zooms, one-on-one FaceTimes. Yeah, it takes a lot of time, but it's personal and it shows people that you care and it shows people that you're working with them and they know exactly what they're doing. Because I did a training about this on my YouTube the other day, but you're the coach of your own team, you guys. You're not putting the plays out there, and if you're not getting all the squares and the circles in the right spot, your team has no idea where they're going, and you're all just running around with chicken leg head cut off. So every day, I'm planning those Zooms, I'm making the charts, I'm talking to my team, and I'm making a plan, because if I know where I'm going, it doesn't matter if I know where I'm going. If my team doesn't know, we're not going together. So that's the biggest part of my day, is just making sure that all of my team is on the same page. Or I'll go through downline orders and see, a 90 BV order is placed under this person. I text them, hey, what do you know where you're supposed to place this? Because if they don't, it doesn't get placed, and then bam, you've wasted 96 volume. So a lot of random stuff. I think that you've kind of accepted that. If you're one of those people that tries to, control everything and say, I'm going to message 10 people an hour and I'm going to follow 50 people this time and I'm going to post 3 times a day at this, and this, like, don't do that, because you're going to have to learn, with each promotion, it gets more and more crazy. You cannot control everything. I mean, there were months where I would just literally cry because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's such a mess, especially after I went Prez, because I kept looking at my downline orders and there was just people, and I was like, are these people being trained? Like, is this, as long as you're being a leader and you're teaching that layered leadership and you're doing those Zooms and you're training your people will train their people and their people train their people. So, as you're you may be brand new and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But as you continue to grow your business, you know, your organization gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But as long as you're pushing yourself every day and filling your, you know, day with as much productivity as you can, there's a lot of times, especially when I went full time with this, it took me like a month to get into things because guys, if you're busy, appreciate it. Like I didn't quit school until I was a triple diamond because I got stuff done because I was super intentional with my time. You know, when I quit school and I was sitting here all day, I was like, there's so much time to do it. I'll get it done. And then I didn't get it done because I had so much time. So make sure that if you are super busy, it's not a disadvantage. It's an advantage because successful people are busy.
Yes. Yes, I love that. Ooh, y'all, that's good. I hope y'all have lots of nuggets so far.
Oh, and then how I enroll customers and distributors. There's a second part of that question. Yeah. I'm running out of breath. I need to work out. Yikes. So as far as customers and distributors, my customers come from my stories and, you know, messages. I get predominantly the most of my customers from my stories and just, you know, watching and messaging me. Most of my customers come to me. All my distributors come to me. I don't message for them. I used to do that, and I just was enrolling a bunch of people who had no idea what they were doing because they didn't have a desperation for money. So I just let people come to me through all of my posting and all that stuff and watching my journey. And just like kind of how I seal the deal with them is customers. It's just a matter of how many times I can follow up with someone before they block me. And distributors is just being personal, you know, talking to them, sending voice messages. I'm very big on voice messages, you know, talking to them about what I did, my journey with this business, and, you know, with customers too, my journey with my own results. I always have my own before and afters to where if they say like, well, does it work? And I'm like, look at this. So if you have your own results, I 110%, if you don't have your own results, that's probably why you're not enrolling. Like I didn't understand the importance of that. The month I got my first chocolate greens and keto coffee results was the month I went double diamond. And I was like, oh, well, if someone had told me 11 months ago when I first shouted out I was going double diamond that all I needed to do was lose weight, then that would have been great. That obviously wasn't why, but before and after has definitely changed the game for everything when it comes to enrolling. Because if I need to enroll a fast customer, I just share my before and after and say, look what this has helped me do. And it's like they flock to you because they trust. You know, a lot of people watch your journey, especially if you're branding yourself and really utilizing social media and, you know, sharing everything that you do. The moment you share your own before and after, they're like, oh, this girl actually uses the stuff she talks about every single day. And then bam, you know, you've got these people that trust you instantly because the results don't lie.
Well, and Sheyenne too, because this sounds so inappropriate, but it's not. I knew her body before I knew her because her results were everywhere. Yeah. Okay, so that was good. Like I know Autumn, you're on this Zoom. Your results are everywhere. I might have shared them in the Lifers page. I'm so sorry. So that's why everyone's tagging Autumn in her before and afters. But they're killer, and it's because of our keto coffee and chocolate greens. This stuff is awesome. But because she posted her, you guys, she has always been thin. You're a thin girl. It wasn't like a huge dramatic difference, but you saw a skinny girl, but you saw thin and toned right after that.
Yeah.
And so it was a huge difference. So what I'm going to shout out to my college girls right now, because none of y'all showing no results of your body. You're just giving testimony. That's great. But we got to see it. What is it doing? A lot of you have rap results that I haven't ever seen because you're not sharing them. And what did she just say? The moment she shared her results, she went double. I know somebody on this Zoom that wants to go double next month. I'm just saying. I know somebody that wants to go triple. I'm just saying. Share your results. Autumn is this close to diamond because she's sharing her results like crazy. Yeah, Charlotte, I'm talking to you double. Why? Like Medea is coming out of me so bad. I don't know. I've been talking to Portia and them way too much lately. But that's the key, is your results. So if you don't hear it from me, hear it from Sheyenne. Now, I want to touch on your nightly work Zooms. We're going to do this hardcore. What do you go over? What does that look like?
So, you know, with our work Zooms, we do power hours randomly, but our work Zooms, you know, we just blast typically like 90s old school, like rap. Well, it's not really old school. It's old school for me. But we just listen to that. You know, we listen to music really loudly and like people post questions in the chat or, you know, leaders will stop and share tips throughout. But it's literally just us like sitting there staring at each other, working. You know, it's always the same people that are on, but it's those same people that promote every single month. You know, a lot of people don't appreciate the importance of them. Like we could
repeat
Shout that louder for the people in the back.
all the people that got, like, I'm not even kidding when I say this, and I said this in my team page the other day, it kind of went off on people. Every single person that consistently gets on our work Zooms and our team Zooms has promoted. Every single one of them. Like, every one of them. And people don't understand that. And so the ones that consistently don't show up, they ain't going up. That's just the way it is. So, we get on and we talk and we work. And I think it's not even like the matter of us telling people what to do. It's just like the community of seeing like, oh, all these people are working, and all the times that I wasn't on this Zoom, what was I doing? Like, it's just kind of an accountability Zoom where people are working, and we always post like when we enroll, we post them in the comments, and we're like, hey, boom LC, like boom DT, because then they're like, oh crap, I need to enroll too. So we just do them every night. It's typically all of my leaders that are still promoting one after another, but it's the ones that show up that go up. And it used to bother me a lot for all the one, like, I'm like, I have 1,500 people in my downline and there's 20 people on this work Zoom, but instead of switching, my perspective, that's 20 people that want to go triple diamond.
Yeah,
hello.
That's all you need. That's all you need. And here's another question. What are your, like, I know that you said it's kind of the community, but a lot of people, they're willing to put in the work. They're on the Zoom, they're ready to do it, but they kind of need to be guided. Like, what are we going to do now? Because we've done a lot of these, and we'll do this for 10 minutes. We'll do this for 15 minutes. So if you ever do things like that, what are your certain things that you're guiding your team to do?
I have a power hour schedule somewhere over here. It's like 10 minutes personal development. Like, I always would start with like a video, like a pump up video. And then 10 minutes following. We do 5 things: 10 minutes following, 10 minute following up, 10 minutes interacting, 10 minutes posting, and 10 minutes messaging. Those are just 5 things that we do. We do 10 minutes each time.
Awesome. I love that. I love it. When did you start doing your own things for your own team?
So at Diamond, I created my own team page. Yikes. Don't do that. I like didn't ask Courtney. I just like went and did my own thing. And there were like 2 people that would like my stuff in the page, and it was just a mess. So I deleted it. I stayed in our ambassador page until I was presidential. Like a month it's like January, I made my own team page because my team was like, yo, like, what are you doing? They told me to make a team page because I was too afraid to go on my own. And I'm so glad that I did. But I've always had my own team chat. So at first it was a team chat until it outgrew that, and I couldn't have that many people in the chat anymore. And then it went into just a boom chat where it was just the people that were actively enrolling went into it. And then it went to where we branched off into each diamond having their own chat with their team that I'm in, to where if I needed volume in a certain leg, I could do a giveaway in one of the chats. If I needed, just to go in and, hype people up or talk to people, I could do it through there. So now I have my own team page, and I have a push chat where we just do like monthly giveaways for people that actively enroll. And then all my diamonds and above have their own little boom chat where they can ask questions and stuff like that, to where I'm creating that layered leadership where they are all, doing their own Zooms, doing their own giveaways, doing all of that, but they still have the guidance of, upper leaders and stuff.
I love all of this. I want to open it up. Where is she? Where is Alexandra? There she is. Alexandra, I'm going to open it up to you. I'm going to unmute you. And because she is our new diamond, she promoted last month. And you were right about her, Sheyenne. You were right, but I got her.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she went Ruby in 18 days, Emerald the next month, and Diamond in 3 months, and then double. And she's ready for triple. She's a great leader, and she is raising up leaders. She is so attentive to her team. So I want you to go ahead and ask questions because your team is young.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. I guess something I feel like I come across, and a lot of girls are like, well, I'm out of people to follow. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you have no idea the power of social media and who's all on there. But, like, what kind of tips do you tell your girls about that? Because I feel like that gets brought up so much, and that really makes people, like, super discouraged. And so I know you went over the no, and it kind of plays in with the same thing. But I feel like girls are like, well, where do I go to find girls? Or, like, because I feel like they'll find people, but they'll be under 18. I always say, like, go to college, sorority, stuff like that, if you're targeting more that market. So how do you do that? And then I also have another question that kind of spins off of that as well.
So this all goes back to branding yourself. I have a training on my YouTube. Well, it's actually on Jade's because I didn't have service and she went ahead and uploaded it for me. So if you search Jade Hooper and then Sheyenne Knox Instagram training, me and like two of my leaders that are really good on Instagram went over it. And, it's all about, you follow people all day long, but if you're not following people that relate to you, you're following blank canvases that don't matter. Like I follow people, when I was in a sorority, I only followed girls that were in my sorority because then it related them because they're like, oh, another DZ, like that's just how it is. And then, when I wasn't in school anymore, I still message young people. So like I go to, a random school in Utah and find their, frat life and sorority, Greek page, and I'll go follow through there. I don't even have animals, but somehow half my team are like complete animal lovers and like literally like volunteer ASPCA and like have all that stuff. And so they all follow from like dog pages or like going to local animal shelters and following people that like it. Because if, one of those people goes to their page and sees people that, share a bunch of pictures of their dogs, they're going to follow you back because they like dogs too. You know where I'm going? Like we have a couple girls that are like into horse racing and stuff like that. They only follow people that relate to that because once people can pinpoint that you're a human being and not just someone who sells skinny stickers, then you kind of get past that gate where they're like, oh, okay. And so when you're following all those people, you're actually getting followers back. I think the biggest thing is they're like, well, I'm following hundreds of people a day, but I'm not getting followers back. And that kind of goes into what your profile looks like, stuff like that. But the biggest thing is just branding yourself so that you're actually able to be passionate about how you're following and actually getting those followers back.
Okay, got it. And then also, I just kind of want you to say like how important it is to like ask for your business. Like you got to like not just wait for people to come to you, because I feel like we have so many people all the time who are like, well, no one voted on my poll. Well, no one swiped up. I'm like, that's not always going to happen. You got to go out and talk to people. So what would you say? Like, I know you said you message a lot for LCs, but what about like post to post and all that stuff too? I'm sure you ask a lot and do a lot for people to post. That's how you, again, expand your market.
Yeah. So a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to message, or I feel annoying when I message. Guys, what do you think people like JCPenney, Victoria's Secret, and all of that, like they email people like crazy. You go through your email right now and you have 500 emails from different stores, semi-annual sale, 5 for 27, this for that, and you buy because they asked you. So why would you not? Like there's so many, I mean, she's not with the company anymore, but there was a girl on stage at conference last year and she was like, someone came up to me in a nail salon with a Blitz card and I'm ambassador and my sister's ambassador underneath me. Could you imagine if she wouldn't have handed them that Blitz card? That's like 500,000 GV of having two ambassadors under you that she would have missed out on by not handing her a card. So now, that was 7-8 years ago. Now we have Instagram where I can send you a message. I can send someone a message and they're like, yeah, like I've been wanting to join, but I've been afraid to reach out. You know how many times I've heard that? Like, why are you afraid of me? Like, I'm over here like, please message me, and you're not. Like, people don't. It's just the way it is. So if you're not asking, the answer is always no. And the biggest deal is, the worst thing they're going to do is say no. But you want to know what? No is not no always. It's no now. I can't tell you how many times people come to me and they'll message me. And like I said, I always swipe up to see what I've said to them before. There's my cold message where I messaged them and I said, like, the loyal customer message, and they don't respond, or they said no. And then 6 months later, they're like, hey, like I've been seeing you post about this keto coffee. I'm like, I tried to tell you 6 months ago, but it's because I asked and I opened that original door. So don't be afraid to ask, because if you don't ask, it's always no. And there are people out there that need an opportunity like this. Like, guys, there are 200,000 distributors in this company. I don't know. That may sound like a lot to you, but that's like 2% of Houston, Texas. Okay. There are so many people who have no idea what It Works is, or they've been following the wrong It Works distributors. They're like, oh, I don't want to post like that. I don't want to post black, green, and bling. Well, there are people out there who do it right. So go out there and find the ones that want this business, or the ones that have never heard of it.
And then another thing I just wanted to ask about, because you focus a lot, again, on building on Instagram and like your profile, like highlight stories, your daily posts. Like, I feel like stories are the biggest thing. I feel like more people watch that than they scroll nowadays, from what I've been hearing from people. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But like, any tips on like quick little tips that you could give out? Because, like we see, again, like some distributors' pages, you're like, ooh, like I don't want to be like that. But then you see other people who are like, oh, that's so pretty. But like, what tips would you have on like, I guess like, putting your highlights together, stories, and then just kind of like overall posting?
So I post once a day on my Instagram. When I first started, I was like, I am never going to post on my Instagram. I'm only going to use my Facebook because I was so afraid that people are going to make fun of me. And so many people, I didn't even know what to post. So I posted pictures of a wrap on my bed, like, ew. But I did it anyways because I was willing to fail, like I said, so I could get back up and try again. But now, I have picture days. So, and if I don't have anything to post, I figure it out. I'll put on a cute top, put on sunglasses to cover the fact that I look like a hobo, go out and find a picture of a wall and take a selfie up against it. And the moment you put a Lightroom filter on something, you go from like a 2 to a 10. So definitely don't say that you don't have anything to post because you can look like a scrub and I can show you some pictures on my Instagram where I'm like, 2 seconds before that I was in bed under the covers, like hating my life because I didn't want to get out of bed. So there are definitely times that it happened, but I post once a day on my Instagram. I post like 10 to 15 times on my Instagram story. Guys, I get like 5,000 views on my story and I get, anywhere from 500, 800 likes. I started with like 500 followers on Instagram and now I've built it to 9,000. So it wasn't overnight. Keep that in mind. If you're over here like, well, I'm not successful and it's been 5 days, sis, calm down. You're going to be successful. You just have to give it time. It takes time to build success. So, I built my business by following every day and building it up to where I could have those followers that would see, my Instagram. And so I take time into it. That's the biggest thing is a lot of people are like, well, I posted and it's just a picture of like a keto energy on a white paper. Like you have to put effort into this stuff. You don't just post, you have to put effort into it because, as much as it sucks, like this is your business. This is, you having to put effort into something. If you want to be successful with something, you can't put a random picture of a product on the thing and expect to get a bunch of sales. Like take the time to go outside, take a cute picture with the energy pixie stick, filter it, make yourself look better and then post it. I'm not saying you have to look super great and have to be some Instagram blogger. That's not what I'm getting at. But you just have to put more effort into things, putting filters on it, making a consistent filter. That was the biggest thing that completely changed my business was, I guess it was November. I got my first Lightroom preset and my Instagram game went from like a 2 to a 10, like real fast, because everything was consistent and my pictures looked better and people were complimenting, like my interaction went up so much because people wanted to ask me where I got my filter from. Mm-hmm. So, just finding a good Lightroom filter or, they don't have to be expensive. The one I have right now is $5 for a pack of like 10 of them. So, find one that you really like, filter all of your pictures, post on your story, and even the pictures I post on my story, I make them look good. I don't just slap something on there because I'm really crazy and I watch my views to make sure they don't drop. If I post a video and it drops by like 700 each time, I know it wasn't a good video and I delete it. But that's just because I care and I put a ton of effort into the content I put on my Instagram. As far as my highlight covers, they just match what my profile is going for. Like you can generally get 5 colors from your Instagram that match the pictures that you take. I only wear about the same 3 colors every time in my outfits, like blush pink, green, and blue. Like that's all I wear. And so that's kind of how my Instagram went. But I've taken a lot of time. I didn't just join this business and know exactly how to work this Instagram stuff and make my stuff look good. And I still learn to get better every day, but it's just a matter of you trying because it will come together. You just have to put effort into it.
I want to ask you 2 more questions before we wrap up. What I love, y'all, I sound like so crazy when I say this, but you know what? I know that Sheyenne loves TJ Maxx. I've heard her say it, but I used to follow her on Instagram, so I know that she loves it. In fact, when I was at TJ Maxx, I saw a cactus thing, and I wanted to buy it for Sheyenne. She didn't know me from Adam. That would have been strange, and she would have thought I was a stalker. But she loves cactuses. Am I right?
Everyone does that. They're like, I saw this, and it's cactus. Like, that comes from branding myself, so I'm getting interaction and building relationships over stuff that I love.
So that's what you need to be filling your stories with. And girls, young girls, I'm talking to you, what are you filling your stories with? Is it all product? And a lot of it, and I'm just going to say it, and we've talked about it before, I want to see your face. We got to see your face. You got to talk about what you like. Maybe, and I see Alexandra because she's like right here, but oh my God, I just got done with practice. I look like hell. Like, it can be funny stuff like that. Okay, what is she practicing for? From her page, she's a cheerleader, but you don't know how hard she works. You don't know about all these other things that she does. So when people start to message you, asking you random questions about your life of a story they saw, you can connect that to your business and what you do. So if all they're looking at is you just putting products and products and products and the opportunity, they don't know if you're in a relationship. They don't know where you go to school. They don't know. So you're more than that. So give yourself credit for who you are because you're an amazing person. You guys, I put a video up on Facebook today that I sang at a 110-year-old lady's birthday party. People were messaging me, oh my God, I didn't know you sang. No, a lot of people don't know I sing. That was in a past life. But I put that out there, and my interactions through the roof on Facebook today. So you put you, and you sprinkle your life. That's the key word. You sprinkle the business. You got to sprinkle all aspects of your life in there, because honest to God, if it's just product, and basically models that aren't you, I want to see Sheyenne. I want to see her team. I want to see her girlfriends that she hangs out with. And a lot of you are changing that up, which is great, but go all in doing that. Last question. You don't message for DTs, which you're the second person I've talked to that doesn't do that, because we do. But we do get a lot of people that don't work. And so we should change that. So what do you do more of? What are you focusing on so much that's bringing people to you?
So, I don't like automatically message for distributors, but if I message for a customer, I always do, and they say like, oh, I can't afford that, or oh, like I am really struggling financially right now, then I bring up the business. So I don't ever like initially come across with it, but I do always use it as an option to say like, okay, well, it's $39 for, the keto coffee, but, right now it's $20 if you wanted to join, make money from selling it. Have you ever thought about that? Because then you're kind of opening that conversation. But I mean, honestly, I keep saying it, but it just comes back to branding myself. Like, I post videos on my story all the time. Like, all the time. If y'all follow me on Instagram, I just talk because I try to go towards that blogger mentality, because that's what's working on Instagram right now. So I, post videos of, I start talking about something I did during the day, like, oh, I just got back from grocery shopping, like blah, 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 blah. And, I just had a girl message me and help her get started with this business. It's like $20 to join right now. Like, and I always bring up like, I joined this business 2 years ago for gas money, and now I've turned it into 5 figures a month. I don't care if you don't make 5 figures a month. People don't actually think that's very cool. It's now just like an inspirational thing. And I say that because I thought when I bought my car, people would just flock to me. Everyone was like, oh, that's so cool. And I'm like, no, like, don't you want to join because I bought a car? Like, people need to see, it's like when I earned the $25,000 bonus, I was like, oh my gosh, everyone's going to join my team. I'm going to go Ambassador 2.0 tomorrow because everyone's so pumped. It didn't actually like work like that because then it's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, because that's not realistic. So maybe you're one of those people right now and you're like, well, I don't really have a story to tell to pull in those distributors. Guys, you do. People need gas money. They need grocery money. $500 can keep someone from going bankrupt. So if you're Ruby right now, you have a freaking golden mine for you to sit there and say, like, I joined this business for gas money and now I'm making $500 a month. Like, what would that do for you? I know, when I started this business, I had to put groceries back because I couldn't afford them, or, I had to put $10 in my bank or in my gas tank because I couldn't afford to fill it up all the way. That's what's going to get those distributors, not me saying I've earned $55,000 in bonuses and I bring in $25,000 a month for my phone. That's not realistic. People don't care. They're like, oh, that's cool, because that's not something that's obtainable. But they don't realize it is in this business. Like, that's not something that people do every day, but that's something people do every day in this business. Mm-hmm. So I want you to understand that whether your story is you're presidential or you're a distributor, you have a story to tell no matter what. We all had to start from the bottom at some point, and I got people to join me by sharing those little wins. Me earning my shopping spree, me getting those customers. Every single time I enrolled a distributor, I'm like, hey, like, I'm about to earn $100 bonus. Like, that's what people want to hear. So, with me sharing that on my story every day and sharing like, another $100 bonus, or It Works just picked up the tag on my, I literally video the number of me getting gas going up every single time I get gas. And every single time people swipe up and they're like, okay, I've been watching for so long, because they probably don't have gas in their tank at that point. Okay. So not the time when I posted my paycheck, people are just like, wow, incredible. Not, I want to join, because that's not relatable. So always keep that in mind when you kind of feel discouraged that you don't have a story to tell. Your story is 10 times more important right now than it will be later.
Man, this has been so awesome. I hope that what I've gotten from this is being so intentionally consistent being me. I hope you guys have gotten that, because that's who people are going to join. 110%. I feel a lot of energy coming from this. I had see some faces. They're ready to promote in the next 30 days. You guys, this is just such an amazing time. We've got girls that are 20 that are going to be millionaires by the time they're 22. This is what's happening right now, and we've got our hands on that, and we are seriously in a phase of momentum that if you stop right now, if you are on the Zoom and you stop tomorrow, I'm going to be like, no. Okay, we need to do this thing. Y'all, give Sheyenne a huge just thank you. You're amazing. I knew this was going to be awesome.
And the higher you get, the more valuable your time is. So that's huge, Sheyenne. Thank you so much for taking the time out. And you're sick.
Of course.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but like you said, how you just said, like you being a millionaire by 22, you guys, if I make the same amount that I've been making the past few months for 2 more years, I will make exactly $1 million.
Isn't that incredible? Oh,
like that's insane. And I joined for gas money. Yeah. So if that's you, you have no idea what this business will do for you.
Don't give up, you guys. Don't give up. And this is why we have to talk to people of all ages, all walks of life, all across this business, because somebody's going to have one little tidbit that's going to rock your world and get you on the right track. So Sheyenne, thank you so much for being here. Everybody else, thank you so much for getting on this. What day is it? Wednesday night.
I never know. Don't ask me. My phone's dead right now.
So I love you guys. I appreciate you. And Sheyenne, I'm going to message you to get some information from you. Love you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.